Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Saurabh Mishra, CTO at Lumenore, a data analytics platform. I have spent 20 years in this industry, primarily working in the data analytics world. In the first 10 years of my career, I worked with variety of service companies, IT services company, where I learned about data analytics, different tools and techniques from data architecture to data engineering to business intelligence, as well as classical machine learning based artificial intelligence as well. And last 10 years, I'm primarily working on building a platform like Lumenore, which helps business users or organizations finishing or completing an end-to-end data analytics ecosystem, which helps them consuming raw data, generating insights, and then actionizing those insights to grow the revenue and the business. Now, let's talk about today's session, which is uh, deliberately chosen with this specific topic, which is agentic analytics, analytics that acts. And it is a very fundamental shift which is happening now, that how analytics is getting done, how it is getting delivered, and what is the role of humans going forward. So it's very good experience for all the folks who are in the world of data analytics. Now, this webinar has taken reference and primarily from the Gartner research, and I'll share the key frameworks, the predictions, and some of the key takeaways and practical steps during the journey. And along the way, I'll also be in smaller portions, I'll be talking about the Lumenore, the capabilities through which it is possible to do or perform the agentic analytics. It's not related to the sales pitch, but I think some of the examples, some of the capabilities which helps you understand that how world is moving towards the agentic analytics. So let's get started, and thank you again. So here's the journey today, and we'll move through 6 different sections. First, obviously, we'll talk about the foundations, which ensures that we are talking the same language about LLMs, agents, agentic AI, etc. Then we will talk, and especially we'll talk about the agentic analytics, and the heart of the webinar is in section 4 and 5, where we'll be exploring the major shifts given by Gartner, which are happening in the data analytics architecture, and it is evolving very fast. And finally, we'll close with actionable next steps for you as an individual and for your organization to make it right, to make it adoptable and useful. So let me dive in. Let's talk about the foundation first, and it starts with the large language models. So what are large language models? It's just a recap. I'm sure most of you, and in fact every one of you, already knowing about it. In fact, each and everyone around the world is knowing about it, but it's just a quick recap. So LLMs are the super powered predicting text engine. So they are the engines which predicts the next word and next word. They don't understand the language, but they have a very good power of predicting the next word. This breakthrough came in year 2017, where one of the algorithm launched called transformer algorithm. And after that, there is a very fast movement happened on large language models. We all get to know about the large language models in late 2022 after the launch of GPT 3.5, and which created a capability which is mainstream now, and millions of people are talking about it, and they can talk to AI in natural language without needing any code writing in Python or Java, etc. There are a variety of open source and proprietary models available like GPT, OpenAI, Claude, Llama, Qwen, etc. They are excellent in generating text, writing code, summarization of a content, and handling straightforward tasks. You ask, you get the answers, getting things done. It is an engine which can be used for simple planning and actions, and obviously writing codes, creating visualization charts, dashboards, etc. Then comes the next capability, which is large reasoning model, which is the next step in the LLM, where a big task is divided into smaller steps. It takes a pause, understand the problem statement, breaks down into smaller steps, and keep on executing until the results achieved. So large reasoning model are acting as a careful analyst. It breaks the question into steps using the logic checks and then prepare a final answers. And it is primarily used for complex planning, and these and also solving the complex problem. Then it comes the AI agents, and then obviously the year 2025 was the year of AI agents only, which started as a digital assistant but obviously moved towards the digital teammate and not just the chatbot. So instead of giving an answer, it can accept goals like analyze the data and suggest actions to move up my sales, or prepare for the weekly business review, understand all the different presentation and prepare a final one. Now, how it works, it creates smaller steps, bring the right data, run different checks, draft an output, get a human approval if needed, and then prepare a final output. Obviously, humans used to be in control till today and setting up the correct guardrails, keep on correcting the outcomes until the final decisions are made. So agents are kind of a tireless worker which can work endlessly, unlike human, which obviously after 8 or 9 hours of work getting tired. Now moving towards the next step, and before we move, let me take a very quick example of an agent. So let's assume that nowadays we have started seeing it happening very frequently as well. Now customer support, there is an inbound call happens. An AI agent receives the call, understand the problem statement of a customer, ask clarifying questions, try to pull out the necessary information from the background, suggest a fix. It could also be utilized to reset the password, unlock the accounts, and create a ticket, etc. All these are possible with an agent who has a voice like a human, have a capability of understanding of a problem, and obviously clarifying if there are any doubts. Moving to the last and the most important, which is the agentic AI. An agentic AI is the full vision, where multiple specialized agents are orchestrated through a supervisor or a master agent, which runs autonomous loops with a data flywheel for continuous improvements, and humans moving from executors to guardians. And that's the destination we are heading toward. Now, let's take the last analogy that I have given. Agentic AI could be one solution where multiple agents are working. So for the same customer representative agent, let's assume that there are two agents working behind the scene. One agent is the conversational agent, which has a voice to text and text to speech capability, understanding the problem statement and communicating with the customer. At the same time, the same front end agent is communicating with the back end agent, that's also agent to agent call, and trying to get the information from the backend database system, like what is the order, where it's stuck, should we issue a refund or not, or should we raise a ticket, give user a tracking. So two agents are working in tandem and building a complete agentic solution. So this is about the agentic AI. Now I'll talk about very briefly about Lumenore. So Lumenore is also having an agentic AI capability with a platform or with a module called Ask Me, where multiple agents are working for data analysis. Some of the agents have the capability to run data science algorithms like outlier detection, which is a statistical algorithm, or running regression model, or running classification model. At the same time, some of the agents are having visualization capability for creating different variety of different charts, etc. And few agents will run the query to the database, get the answers, and then eventually solve the problem statement. Now let me move on and take a quick pause here, because I've been talking and it's a kind of a breaker, but I would like to run you through a poll, a very quick poll, which is which describes how AI agents are currently used in your organization. So help me create a poll. It's there on your screen, and let's see how it goes. I'll just take a pause for a moment. Yeah, I'm seeing the answers are coming. Thank you. If it's not visible to your screen, come back to your screen and then you will see. Great. Great results. Thank you for answering. I'm still waiting. Only 50% of the participants have answered. 38%. Okay, I'll just wait for a few more minutes. So what I understood, the majority of the results are coming towards how AI should fit into the system. Thank you for letting us know. We'll just end this poll and then move forward. I'll be sharing these results at the end or probably through an email, but let me go ahead. Okay, now I will talk about the agentic AI opportunity, and here are some of the predictions which are given by Gartner. So first prediction, which talks about that there is a 40% increase which is likely to happen by end of year 2026 from 5% of last year. So this is an 8-fold increase, where Gartner says that enterprise applications will have task-specific AI agents. So that's a very good news, right? So AI is getting into the mainstream systems very fast. 8-fold increase from last year. That's a very great news, and all of us should embrace it and start working towards it. The second prediction, it says this 50% of business decisions augmented by autonomous AI agents. So far in year 2025, only 1% of the decisions are made autonomously. Rest, every time it's a human in the loop which is helping taking the decisions, either approving or rejecting it. Now moving on to the next and the final insights, which says that by end of 2035, $440 billion in enterprise software will be utilized through agentic AI, which is 2% from the market, up from the market from today. So large chunks will start moving towards agentic AI. And I'll also read through one of the quotation from Gartner, and it says that we are exiting the era of human-driven analytics and entering the era where humans collaborate with agents for analytics deliverables. Now, I'll take a pause. So far, what we have done, we have created a foundation around agentic AI, and then with this Gartner quotation, we are talking about analytics. Now, so far we talked about agentic AI, and now talking about the analytics, and eventually my intention is to go towards the agentic analytics, and I'll be building with the next set of slides the analytics foundation, and then combine the agentic AI and analytics together for all of us for better understanding. I'll take one more poll, and this is the last poll for all of you, and I would request every one of you to respond to that. I'll wait. And here, what I understood, all the participants are primarily from the data analytics world, and certainly would be utilizing many dashboards and reports. And that's the reason we just wanted to understand that how we should be structuring the rest of the presentation. Thank you very much. Still, most number of polls are coming towards the dashboards and reports, which is option A. Thank you. But that option is going very fast for sure. Thank you very much. Good participation. Thank you very much for the participation. I'll just wait for 1 or 2, or let's suppose 5 seconds more. Okay. So here, what I got to know is 40% of the 40% of the attendees are mostly towards the dashboard and reports, but at the same time, 30% are utilizing AI and ML as well, plus the dashboards. Thanks for that. I'll end this poll, and we'll move ahead with the slide. Now let's talk about the analytics. Analytics is essentially the study of data, and there are 4 streams or 4 categories of analytics. One is obviously the descriptive analytics, that what has happened, which is nothing but historical reporting, and most of us humans understand from the historical data, and basis which takes the decision. Then comes the diagnostic analytics, that why did it happen, where we utilize the capabilities of drill down analysis, drill through analysis, comparative analysis, etc., and root cause analysis to understand that why did it happen. And there are a variety of internal and external factors as well. Then comes the predictive analytics, which talks about that what is going to happen, again based on the historical data patterns, variety of capabilities with predictive analytics are available, which are clustering analysis, regression analysis, and classification analysis, through which you would be able to perform the predictions. And the end is with prescriptive analytics. Often given prescription was the toughest job, because unless you have the interventions already made available from the back end or from your own system, it wouldn't be possible to give the prescription. But thanks to generative AI, which has such large knowledge base available, and for any business you talk about and the situation you talk about, it has prescriptions to give. Now, as of today, there is a very straight answer from Gartner. It says that most of the insights generation process in today's world is manually, and which is limiting the scalability and expansion of analytics use cases. And now with Agentic Analytics, it is going to be automated, and which will give a lot of value to the business by understanding what are their pains, what are the root causes, and how to mitigate them. Moving ahead and talk about the typical data analytics journey. So we are talking about 7 different steps. You will be seeing that it's few verticals and few horizontals. Let's talk about the very first steps. When we start with the data analytics journey, our essence, our need is to connect with variety of sources, because we need to unify the data so that we can get the meaningful outcome out of it. So we utilize a variety of different connectors, be it database, be it file system, or different APIs, etc. And once we establish the connectivity, we perform an ETL or ELT, extracting, loading, and transforming the data, or extracting, transforming, or loading the data. And intention is to either have the real-time or batch-based processing. Nowadays, everyone is asking about the real-time processing, because decisions has to be made faster, and nobody has the patience to wait for an end, for the day end, and have the batch process running. During this, obviously, we may pull the incremental data or pull data. Incremental data obviously is required for real-time processing or near real-time processing. And sometimes we also need to perform the web scraping for understanding the web search, etc. Now, once we are done with the data acquisition and integration, essentially this data has to be saved to a data lake house. Now, there are a variety of data lake houses available, the cloud lake houses, on-premise data lake houses, and sometimes the hybrid lake house as well. But intention is they should be very high performant, able to consume structured or unstructured data. When we talk about the medallion architecture, it has to follow the object storage or data lake storage capability. But at the same time, the gold layer should have the capability to give the performant output at a very fast pace. This data lake house must be horizontal, scalable, and should be deployable across any platform. This is normally business request or business seeks. Once we have the data ready, then the most important part, which is needed as of today and in future the most, is the semantic layer, where businesses usually build their data dictionaries. They build different level of KPIs, they create different models or subject areas, creation of such knowledge graphs which understand the metadata, and then help users navigate through that metadata using just a conversational interface. It gives you a capability to do the security. You can put your role-based access control, row-level access security, or column-based security access control, etc. under the semantic layer only. As of today, there are a variety of open source tools available through which you can build your semantic layer. At the same time, most of the BI vendors are providing one semantic layer through which you can perform analytics. On the top of it, you can perform the analytics. So semantic layer, as of today and tomorrow, plays a very important role in the data analytics journey. Once you have the semantic layer ready, then there is a possibility of moving towards the conversational intelligence, which is as of today exists, and that's the future as well. So these conversational intelligence or natural language querying capability help you navigate through different challenges instantaneously. So you'll be able to get the answers from your own data, also combining it through web search today as well as tomorrow with more maturity and with agentic analytics capability. The same conversational layer would be able to give you the alerts, get consents or approvals, and can also take an action by connecting to different tools. Then comes the dashboard and reports, which are essence and needed for any production grade applications. Operations works on dashboards and reports. Nobody has time to keep on asking newer and newer questions for insights, but they need an operational intelligence. For that specific purpose, there should be interactive dashboards which have the capability of drilling it down, drilling it through, applying different filter conditions, having the interactive capabilities, getting the narrative insights if the dashboard or chart is complex, etc. And all these dashboards should be embedded to any application, web application, etc. if needed. There is a need for classical machine learning as well, be it preventive maintenance of a manufacturing unit or some sort of churn prediction if you wanted to apply. All those classical machine learning capabilities, which is not there in generative AI as of today, and obviously slowly coming up, all those classical data science capabilities are needed, which helps you identifying, detecting the statistical patterns as well as giving you the predictive output. Now you have all the insights generated from data foundations to the insights generation, but unless you take the action, unless these actions are assigned to process people, there is no point or there is no value that you'll be able to achieve. And that's the reason there is a need for application or automation for which these actions are assigned either through push notification or through application or through chat or through email. So all those applications that acts are also needed. And eventually with this typical data analytics journey, you'll be able to achieve the business results. Now, Lumenore as a platform have all the 7 capabilities as of today exist, and all the users and businesses of Lumenore are able to leverage these capabilities end to end, where they are building the data foundation, building insights, and actionizing those insights for better business growth, efficiency, and revenue. Moving ahead to the next slide, which talks about the capacity shift. So we talked about the typical structure. Now, very soon, right, in next 2 years, we are seeing these 3 major shifts which are going to happen in any analytics platform. The very first thing is from AI as a tool to AI as a teammate, which is a capacity shift. Imagine if you are into the analytics world and you have a tireless partner. You're not just giving faster calculators, but you are given a specialized agents that understand the business context, has the technology knowledge, can run different queries, and act as a co-pilot. It can do all the heavy lifting. It can run many queries in parallel, consolidate all the results, and come back to you with a specific set of insights that you asked for. It is the collaborative intelligence of AI plus human. So it's the capacity shift. Humans will be the orchestrator here, but yes, most of the heavy duty work will be done by AI. Now, let's take a very quick analogy. So earlier, I think from probably 10-15 years ago, we all used to follow the maps. We have the paper maps. We try to navigate through the direction. On the way, keep on asking for the direction and keeps on missing the turns as well and coming back. But now with different GPS based capabilities like Google Maps, etc., which not only navigate you from source to destination, but also analyze different parameters, weather conditions, traffic conditions, toll-free routes, etc., and giving you the best possible route, and not just once, but on the way as well. So this is the capacity shift which is happening. Second shift which is happening is the quality shift. Now, quality shift is from static reports to self-improving data flywheel. Now, what is flywheel? I'll first quickly explain you from the Netflix flywheel. All of us watch movies over Netflix. Let's assume that you watched a sci-fi movie. The next time, Netflix will recommend another sci-fi movie to you. And if you watch that movie again, then it's a positive feedback for the Netflix. If you don't, then it will be a negative feedback, and Netflix will tune their algorithm. Similar is the case with data flywheel, where humans during the analytics keeps on giving the feedback to the AI agent. Thus, yes, you did it right. Yes, you need to improvise on that. And basis which these AI agents will keep on improving and keep on learning and evolve to deliver very good and valuable insights. Now, let me talk about the last one, which is the interaction shift. We all use different Gen AI models, whether it's ChatGPT, OpenAI, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, or Perplexity, these are the four common ones. One thing is very common across all, which is the chat interface. And with this chat unified interface, we are able to ask any number of questions, able to utilize any tool which is available as a skill, etc., and can dictate each and everything. This conversational chat canvas is the next big shift which is going to happen. So forget about those complex dashboards, complex applications, etc., but it will be a drastic shift from a simple or from a complex system to a simpler chat-based conversational interface. So that's the third big shift which is coming. Now, these are the big shifts from one of the Gartner report. We equally echoing it and moving towards this capability or these capabilities. Now, let's talk about the agentic analytics landscape. So earlier, obviously, humans have the capability to talk about the language of data, and where now the data understands the language of human. Now, how do we do that? So usually, we already talk about a complete data ecosystem with 7 different steps. On the top of these data ecosystems, there would be a need, or we'll be seeing that there is a new backend which is coming, which consists of different large language models or large reasoning models, and all such models are available in the form of either public APIs or on-premise GPU-based deployments. These LLMs have the capability to answer, to plan, and execute things. Now, they also need a memory, and those memories are normally being stored in a vector database through embeddings. So all different knowledges are being stored using either knowledge graphs or embeddings in the vector database. Then there are a variety of different agent building and orchestration platform. You might already heard about NA10 and then Claude Skills, etc. Those are agent building platforms through which you'll be able to develop the backend system. And then obviously different tool calls are needed. If you need a web search, you should be able to do that. If you need to run or interact with Salesforce, you need to have those tool calls using MCP. You might interact with NetSuite for your financial information, QuickBooks for your financial information. All those things are possible using MCP, which is Model Context Protocol, which is an interaction system for an AI to AI interaction. So MCP servers and MCP client are the two key capabilities which are needed for the backend. Second thing is the agent layer. So using these capabilities which are on the left side, we would be able to build the agent layer where multiple agents can be created. You may have a data engineering agent which would have a job of doing the data acquisition, data quality checks, data curation, aggregation, joining, etc., and then made it available for the analytics. The query agent, which will run the query quickly based on the user context. Then we have the data science agent, which can run different tool calls of classical machine learning, etc. And then BI agents for creating with different visualization with interactivity, etc. And then on the top, the governance agent, which ensures the interactions are happening, and there are guardrails, there are security, which is governing all these agent set. Now, this is governed by either the supervisor or a master agent, and a front end would be a conversational canvas. Having said this, on the top of this data ecosystem, you have a backend of agentic ecosystem and multiple agents who are utilizing these backends to build the solution, a complete agentic analytics solution for you. But not to forget, during this entire journey, there has to be a complete data governance, which ensures different guardrails are available throughout the journey, and ensures the complete security. Moving ahead and talk about that how these agentic transformations are coming in the typical data ecosystem. We already talked about those 7 pillars, and now we'll be talking about those 7 pillars again, that how they were traditionally and how they are becoming now with the help of agentic. So traditionally, if you'll see, there were manual connectors, ETL scripts or ELT scripts, which runs scheduled batch-based integration jobs, many API integrations, etc. And then variety of manual codes through which we were able to perform the connection, data curation, transformation, etc. Now with agentic, agents will auto discover the source using the MCP route. So every other software vendor is coming with their MCP servers and MCP knowledge base through which another MCP client can interact, connect, and bring it. Now APIs will be auto-negotiated, real-time streaming can happen, multiple agent-to-agent protocols may happen, and all different data engineering agents write optimized SQL queries or agentic RAG capabilities, etc., and then bring on the data. Now the key technologies which are being used here is the MCP, obviously, Model Context Protocol, agent-to-agent communication, if those multiple agents resides in one single interface or infrastructure, and then variety of self-healing capabilities. You may have issues with your data, but when it is passed through the agentic AI system or this data engineering agent, it will understand that how to impute the missing values, how to replace the null, whether it should be with 0 or not applicable, or the mean of last 5 and next 5 values. So all those things will be done automatically with this self-healing capabilities, with agentic capabilities here. Talking about the next step, which is obviously storage in the data lakehouse. Normally, you would have seen if you are managing a data lakehouse, and if it is not on cloud, if it's there in cloud, then obviously you need to work on optimizing all different queries to reduce the cost. Now, such capabilities, or managing a data warehouse or data lakehouse is a very cumbersome task. You need a team of database administrators who keep on optimizing different queries, storage space, and different level of file systems behind the database or data lakehouse. Now with agentic workflows, it will keep on identifying the right encryption, encoding capabilities, keep on optimizing the tables behind the scene, and maintaining the information in the vector database so that retrievals can be faster. So that's the new transformations which will happen with the data lakehouse. And you would have seen is many data lakehouse vendors, be it private or public, have already launched MCP, have already launched the capabilities of vector database and self-tuning and self-healing capabilities. So without the need of human, all these things will start happening. Then comes the semantic layer. So a lot different vendors also coming up with an open source semantic layer capabilities like Cube or DBT, through which you will be able to enrich the complete data dictionary, business glossaries, different KPIs, feature engineering, and then the complete context, security guardrails, prompting. All those things would easily be possible using these semantic layer. And once you have an enriched semantic layer, you are making your AI to work flawlessly. So this is the most important step for any analytics journey, that you must have a very powerful semantic layer available for anyone to utilize the capabilities of AI using Agentic Analytics or using this semantic layer. Moving on, and now we'll talk about insights to action workflow. Now, as we already talked, the new shift is coming towards the conversational analytics. But earlier, the conversational analytics is primarily through internal engines, but now it will be through, and it is happening already. You are seeing co-pilots, which utilizes generative AI capability, understand the business context of the user as well as persona of the user, and the metadata basis which it is able to give you the value automatically. It utilizes semantic layer for sure, and basis that only it is able to give you the correct outcome very fast. Now semantic layers plays a very important role. Then you have natural language to SQL conversion, and then from that SQL to visualization conversion. All those agents are made available. Reports and dashboards will also be automated with the help of a few short examples, knowledge base, natural language generation. It will be more explanatory. So even if you have a dashboard, but if you need to focus only on key insights, you just prompt an AI or give a goal that I just need to get 3 important insights from this dashboard of 20 different charts, KPIs, filters, etc. It will analyze on the top of dashboards and give you 3 important insights based on your persona, your preferences. Moving to the next capability, which is data science. Obviously, a lot of feature engineering dependencies are now getting reduced with neural network based and deep learning based data science capabilities. All those will be utilized at a greater level because data volume is not an issue. Such models can be trained, those neural network based models can be trained. Data science capabilities can fetch you important and interesting patterns with the help of AI agents. And then essentially the actions and assignment, where you have agent to agent protocols where you can trigger workflows, write back to the source application, assign tasks via APIs, and then this multi-system actions can help you orchestrate the complete action workflow. So this is the transformation in agentic era which is coming from the traditional era. Moving ahead quickly and talk about the agent development guidelines, because after this, or not necessarily after this webinar, but sooner or later your organization would come back and request for development of agents. Now, what is needed when you build an agent? The very first thing you would be needing is the clarity of goals. When you are building an agent, you need to build with a very clear goal. This is an inventory agent who has or who owns the responsibility of monitoring the agent inventory levels and trigger another API or another agent for stock fulfillment or stock refills. So that's one type of agents that you'll be creating. At the same time, you'll be creating guardrails that what this agent should do and what this should not do. So that clarity is very much needed. Then comes the tool governance. Here you provide your agents not too many tools. You need to limit the number of tools, otherwise it will create a confusion or hallucination. So you will be providing an agent a sufficient number of tools, but not too many, so that it can plan it well and it can give you the right results without any issues. If there are too many tools, then obviously there will be a situation where it starts creating hallucination and would not be able to give you the required output. So less number of tools with the proper governance is needed. Then the model selections. Now you already know there are many models available as of today, and then we need to understand that which model is best suited for which specific task. So you need to choose different LLMs or reasoning model, which is LRMs, based on the need. If there is a need of LLM and you are deploying LRM, then you are just wasting money, because LRMs were not needed. It was a plain simple task. It could have been done by LLM. So that level of knowledge is needed, on basis which you would be able to implement a cost-effective model selection and implementation. And then at the end, and one of the most important step is the memory management, because context keep on changing. Today I'm acting as a persona A, but when I keep on asking, my context also gets changed. So there is a need of maintaining a sliding context window, which talks about the recent interactions more, but at the same time, it keeps on building the persona of a user who is interacting with it. So persona and some of the recent interactions, followed by the knowledge which is sitting in the vector database, can provide you the complete memory for agents to act efficiently. During this process, obviously, one thing which we haven't talked much in detail, which is humans. What would be the role of human when all these agents will be working in action? Let's talk about some of the philosophy, which again provided by Gartner, which talks about human in the loop, human on the loop, and human out of the loop. Let's focus a little bit more towards the human in the loop. Now, in the very first phase, when you see, obviously you would be needing a semantic layer which is completely ready for agentic AI use cases. You have a semantic layer, and then you are giving the clear goals and instruction on that particular while building an agent. As soon as agent comes to a conclusion, it should be involving or it should be triggering a workflow where a human intervention is needed. A human will verify, and that's the phase 2 of the implementation of agents, where human will verify, approve, and unless it approves, agent will not execute it. So the actions were ready, but those actions were dependent on human to approve or reject. As soon as it is approved, agent will trigger those actions. Now, obviously, when human is there, there is a possibility of getting things slowed down. So scalability will be less. It will have a slow throughput, but it is very much needed and appropriate for high risk and early stage deployments. Until you have the trust build up on AI, that until that point in time, human in the loop are needed for each and every decisions made by agent. So that's called the human in the loop. Now, once human has the comfort level, it achieves a comfort level that yes, now my agents are working fine under phase 2. Let me do a supervision rather than doing an approving or rejecting a request from agent. Let me act as a guardian and run through a loop, very famous loop called OODA loop, where it observes, give decisions, decide, and act. So this is a loop where humans are just observing from the top, and unless it is very much needed, not giving directions to the agent. And this eventually gives us a complete autonomy eventually, where this feedbacks and fine-tuning will keep on elevating the agents. Very similar example that I have given for Netflix flywheel, and that is the human on the loop. Here, most of the operations will be autonomous. It will be much faster as compared to the previous human in the loop system. And then once we achieve this level of maturity after phase 4, we can move towards human out of the loop with complete autonomy, and that's the future. Not necessarily happening anytime soon, but let's assume that after probably 2 years, you'll be having or will be going towards the futuristic phase 5, where agents would be able to take the decisions, would be able to run things autonomously without any need of human intervention. So humans are important as of today, but yes, for easy to make decisions in future, humans wouldn't be needed. Now, let me talk about some of the Agentic Analytics tech stack. Though during this discussion, we already talked about MCP plays a very, very, very important role, where it ensures the connectivity of one agent to another agent. So MCP servers and MCP clients, these are the two key capabilities which are needed for you to build. If you wanted to interact with an external system, you need to interact through MCP servers.